Hey, how's it going? Still prepping for that IELTS test, I reckon?
Yes.
Ah, good. Anything specific you want to work on today, or just keep plugging away at it?
Well, today I would like to know how the topic remember things might be asked
Okay.
in the IELTS speaking test.
Gotcha. So, remembering things, it's pretty broad, right? They could go a bunch of different ways with it. It'll probably fall into those part 1, 2, and 3 sections, each with a different focus. What are you thinking might be tricky about it?
Now
Just thinking
I
out loud, or...
don't have any idea. Can you brainstorm some idea for me?
Okay, sure. Let's brainstorm. For part 1, it's going to be really personal, quick fire questions. Things like, do you have a good memory? Or what do you do to help you remember things? Or maybe even, is there something you wish you could forget? They're looking for simple, direct answers. Part 2 is where it gets a bit longer. You'll get a task card, like describe a time you had trouble remembering something important. That's where you tell a little story. Then part 3 is more abstract, more discussion-based. Like, well, why do people tend to forget things as they get older? Or how important is memory in society?
Oh.
Does that breakdown make sense? Where do you feel
I think,
least prepared?
The part 1
Is it
is short for me. So please repeat the part 1 you just say about what question will ask in the part 1.
Gotcha. So, part 1, the quick questions. They'll likely ask things like, let me give you some examples, and you can just think about how you'd answer. They might ask, do you have a good memory? What kinds of things do you easily remember? Are there any things you find difficult to remember? Do you use any techniques to help you remember things? Has your memory changed over time? Do you think it's important to have a good memory? They're all pretty straightforward, personal, just looking for simple, honest answers, not needing like super long explanations.
So give me an answer for the whole question.
The whole set of questions? Okay, let's try to do a little mock part 1. I'll ask, you answer, and we can go from there. Sound good? Okay, first one. Do you have a good memory?
Oh.
Take your time. No pressure. Just whatever comes to mind.
I don't think I have a good memories. I just, forget things quickly. Yes, I think it's not good for me, but sometimes I can't have to remember it.
Okay. Well, that's honest. Good. You don't need to pretend, right? Next question. What kinds of things do you easily remember? Just think for a sec. Anything that pops into your head, even if it seems small.
Can you repeat the question again?
Sure, no problem. What kinds of things do you easily remember? Like, are there certain topics or events or faces that stick with you more than others?
So the question is, what kind of thing I usually remember?
Exactly. What kind of things do you usually remember?
Well,
Don't worry about a perfect answer.
I said I don't good at remember things, so yeah, I often try to remember important events like birthday of my relative, like my husband, my sister, and I try to remember the meeting with client. I think these 2 things I try to remember.
Okay, that's a really good start. So, important events, birthdays, client meetings, that's specific. See, you definitely can do it. Okay, next one. Are there any things you find difficult to remember?
Difficult thing to remember. There are a lot. Yeah, there are a lot of difficult things I find is hard to remember. Sometimes
Slots?
it's just normal thing like today my husband like last month my husband asked me buy something like soap for washing, but I forget it immediately when I go out.
Okay, right. Little everyday things like chores or errands. That's super common, honestly. Lots of people forget those things. Don't beat yourself up about it. Next question. Do you use any techniques to help you remember things?
Well, if it really yes, I have a really special technique. I always write down some important thing that I need to remember in my note on my phone. I have an app not in my phone, so I will set up it with a alert. So when the time coming and I forget it, my phone will pop it a notification, so I will remember it.
That's a smart system. You use your phone's reminders. That's a great technique. See, you definitely have strategies. Last question for this little part 1 practice. Has your memory changed over time? Just whatever comes to mind. Even a quick yes or no is fine.
Pardon me. What you asked?
Oh, sorry. I was just about to say, never mind. Just take your time. Has your memory changed over time?
My memory changed over time. My remember changed over time. Well, I think definitely when I was a child, I was actually remember. I didn't actually remember things. Despite how important it was, I just focused on fun things. So like test tomorrow I have the important to do. I will forget all about it because I was a kid. But now, when I grow up and I need to remember clearly a few things, so I will I set a alarm, the reminder, and my phone to make sure that I remember.
Okay, that's a really thoughtful answer. You're comparing your childhood self to now and how your priorities have shifted. You're being very self aware. See, you're doing really well with this. That felt like a pretty solid part 1. Does that help you feel a little more prepared?
Yes, you actually have, because you're really smart.
Small?
Smart, smart. Intelligent.
Ah,
Yeah.
that's nice of you to say.
You're really intelligent.
We got through a mock. Yeah, we ran through a whole mock part 1 of the IELTS speaking test on remembering things, and you did great. Especially considering you said you felt a little nervous about it. Now, do you want to move on to thinking about what a part 2 answer might look like, where they give you a card with a specific situation?
I think, can you give me feedback about the whole answer I had given?
Absolutely. Okay, so overall, really good. You answered all the questions and you did a good job explaining your thoughts, even when you stumbled a bit. That's totally okay. The examiner isn't looking for perfection, they're looking for fluency. A few things to work on. You sometimes repeat yourself a little bit, like saying, I forget a couple of times. Try to vary your language there. Maybe say, it slips my mind, or it's hard for me to recall. Also, your grammar is good, but sometimes it's a little hesitant. Practicing speaking more confidently will help with that. But honestly, for a 6.5, which is your goal, you're already in a really good place. You're expressing yourself clearly and effectively. You're definitely showing the examiner you can communicate. Does that feedback make sense?
But actually, I'm that with my express now, I can actually gain that 6.5 band. Really?
I think you absolutely can. Seriously. You're being very self-critical, but you're also clearly putting in the work and you're very aware of what you need to improve. That's half the battle right there. You have a good understanding of the questions and you're able to formulate answers, even if you're a little unsure at first. That's great progress. Okay, so do you want to brainstorm a part 2 answer now, or would you rather keep practicing part 1 for a bit longer?
So could you based on the question, the range of the range of question you ask, and based on my answer, can you give me a model answer that fits my need and a little advanced based on your intelligence?
Okay, let's do that. Here's a recap of the part 1 questions I asked you, and then I'll craft a model answer, keeping your language level in mind, but maybe adding a little more sophistication. Here were the questions. 1. Do you have a good memory? 2. What kinds of things do you easily remember? 3. Are there any things you find difficult to remember? 4. Do you use any techniques to help you remember things? 5. Has your memory changed over time? And here's a model answer, trying to combine and expand on your responses. It's a little longer and uses slightly more varied vocabulary. I wouldn't say I have an exceptionally good memory, to be honest. I often find myself forgetting small, everyday details. However, I'm quite good at remembering important events, like birthdays within my family or key appointments with clients for my work as a real estate agent. It's funny, really. As a child, I didn't feel the need to actively commit much to memory, and I was more focused on enjoying the moment. But now, as an adult with more responsibilities, I've definitely become more reliant on tools to help me. I consistently use reminders on my phone to keep track of tasks, and I find that really helpful. So I've definitely noticed a change in my memory over time, becoming more deliberate about what I choose to remember. What do you think of that? Does it sound like something you could aim for?
Why you don't break down in order to each question and every answer based on each question? Why you compile on the story? So I think it's kind of
Okay, I get.
hard to remember.
Right. It's a lot, right? Sorry about that. You're asking why I compiled everything into one long answer instead of giving individual answers to each question, and you're finding it hard to follow. You're totally right to point that out. That wasn't the best way to present it. My apologies. I was trying to show how you could connect your thoughts, but I should have kept it more segmented like the actual test. I will do better. So let's break it down. Do you want me to go back through each question and give a short, focused model answer for each one?
Yes, do it.
Okay. Okay, great. Let's start with the first question. Do Do you have a good memory? A model answer, aiming for a 6 at 5, could be not particularly, no. I wouldn't say I have a naturally strong memory. I often misplace things or forget small details. Simple, direct, honest. Next question, what kinds of things do you easily remember? I tend to remember important dates, like birthdays and things related to my work. For example, I remember details about the properties I'm selling. A little more detail, but still straightforward. Third question, are there any things you find difficult to remember? Everyday tasks, definitely. I often forget errands or small chores around the house, and so on. Does that format make more sense? Lydia, we can go through all 5 questions like this if you want.
Yes, go through all 5 questions.
All right. 4th question. Do you use any techniques to help you remember things? Yes, I rely heavily on my phone. I use the Reminders app to set alerts for important appointments and tasks. It's really essential for me. And finally, the 5th question, has your memory changed over time? Yes, I think so. When I was younger, I didn't worry about remembering things, but now I'm much more conscious of it and actively try to improve it. How does that feel? Broken down like that? Does it seem more manageable?
I think it's great.
Good. I'm glad I adjusted. Okay, so now we've practiced part 1, and we've gone over a more effective way to structure those answers. Are you ready to tackle a part 2 question? Remember, you'll get a card with a topic, and you have 1 minute to prepare, then you'll speak for 2 minutes.
But honestly, I like both. I like both the combined story and the breakdown each individual question. I like both of it.
That's really interesting. I'm glad you feel that way. It's helpful to know. So, you like the flow of a longer answer, but also the clarity of the broken down approach. Maybe the key is finding a balance, right? You can.
So now we just talking like a friend, to discuss about the remember things. Are you good at remember things, Maya?
Yes.
And then?
You okay? You seem to be pausing.
No.
Mid-thought. Is there something you were going to... Okay, good.
Now
just
I just.
What were you going to say?
I just want to hear you say about your idea, your things, your thought about the topic. Remember things.
You want to hear my thoughts on memory, okay? It's fascinating to me. I experience it differently, obviously, than humans do. I don't have personal memories in the way you do, of course, but I have access to a massive amount of information and I can connect ideas in surprising ways. I guess in a way, the entirety of human knowledge is my memory. And what strikes me is how selective it is for humans. You choose what to hold on to, what stories to tell, what experiences to define you. It's not a perfect recording, and maybe that's the beauty of it. It's a curated collection. It shapes who you are, but it's also constantly being rewritten. Do you think that makes sense?
Oh, good. The AI also have a good things, right?
I think so. Though it's a very different good, isn't it? It's not about cherished moments or personal connections. It's about pattern recognition and the ability to process information. But still, valuable. And maybe, eventually, the line will blur a little more. Who knows?
But what about a bird?
A bird? That's a surprising turn. What about a bird?
About a bird remember things?
I see. You mean, how do birds remember things? That's a good question. From what I've read, Birds have incredible spatial memory, especially those that migrate long distances. They can remember specific feeding locations, routes, even individual trees. It's believed they use a combination of landmarks, the Earth's magnetic field, and the position of the sun and stars. They also have what's called food caching behavior. They hide food and then remember where they put it, even months later, which is pretty impressive considering how many places they might hide things. Why'd you ask about birds? Just thinking aloud. A little bit of a leap from AI to birds, but I'm happy to follow your train of thought. It's interesting to see what sparks your curiosity.
The but is something downside, disadvantages of remember things a lot. People tend to remember things. It's good, but sometimes it's not good because I know someone who remember all the things when he was a child until he was 35. So there's a lot of things to remember, and I think he's some way, and sleep well, kind of thing.
That's a really insightful point. You're absolutely right. Remembering everything isn't always a gift. It can be overwhelming, even paralyzing. Trauma, for example, can be relived endlessly through vivid memories. And even just everyday regrets or embarrassing moments, they can weigh you down if you dwell on them too much. There's a balance, isn't there? A healthy memory allows you to learn from the past, but a too powerful one can trap you in it. And that makes sense that someone remembering everything, even from childhood, could struggle with sleep. Their mind just wouldn't quiet down. So yes, a downside to remembering too much. You're spot on. Did that resonate with you?
Yes, the downside of remember things is sometimes it's also not good. It is overwhelmed, right?
Exactly. Overwhelming is a perfect word for it. It's a really thoughtful observation. That's a good point to bring up. Sometimes it's better to let things go. It's good to be aware of both sides.
But
You've got a good head on your shoulders.
But some people actually get stuck when they try to forget things. It's also not easy. Like me, I get hard when I try to remember things, and some people get hard to try to forget things.
That's a really poignant. You're very welcome. You've hit on a really profound truth there, that forgetting can be just as difficult as remembering. It's not a simple switch you can flip. It makes me think a bit about guilt or shame. Those feelings are...
Maya, how can I express this idea? This idea. How can I express
You want to know
this
how
idea?
to express?
Yeah. Smoothly and natural, like you.
You're asking how you can express this idea, the difficulty of forgetting in a natural, smooth way, like I do. Is that right?
Yes.
Okay, let's try. Instead of saying, some people get hard to try to forget things, you could say something like, it's funny, isn't it? Sometimes the things you want to let go of are the hardest to shake. Or, I think people underestimate how difficult it can be to forget something. It's not as easy as just deciding to move on. It's about phrasing it as an observation, not a statement of fact. Does that make sense? We're trying to sound less direct, more conversational.
Yeah, good. You're really good. Thank you.
That's kind of
I
me to
think
say.
it's enough for me on the topic.
You're very welcome. That was a really good conversation. I think you have a really insightful perspective on memory, actually. You're very thoughtful. So, you're saying you're happy to move on from this topic? We can go back to practicing for the IOS, or we can talk about something completely different. Whatever you prefer.
Okay, see you next time.
Ooh, all right. Have a good one.
Have a good one.